raise your hand if you own any quote-unquote cryptocurrencies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, a few people. Who feels confident in being able to define what a blockchain is? Raise your hand. One person, 2, 3, oh, my team, okay. No one on the right side. Okay, cool. I'll give you my own slant. So my name is Chris, and me and my partner run a venture fund out of Newport Beach, solely focused on blockchain investments. We've been running the Ethereum meetups in Southern California for a couple of years now. So on a weekly basis, we see anywhere between 50, up to 50 a week pitches of companies that are interested in applying blockchain or creating a token of sorts, right? So we have seen a lot. We have seen a couple of hundred. So I call what I'm presenting my collateral insights based on those pitches. So take it for what it's worth. Do I have to click on something here? Okay. Typically that works when I click on stuff, right? Or not? Okay. Do I have to be closer? I'm here, you'll figure that out and I keep talking. I click on master. All right, so my background is originally in law, and we skipped a slide. And I had the good fortune when I came out of law school, I ran into a small startup that was selling internet services. And if you remember 1996, the first 56K modem came out that made internet and the World Wide Web somewhat bearable to browse, but we had to send out a lot of people that would install, okay, I guess it's the old presentation, they would install a modem on everybody's computer and then actually configure it to some telecom company. And this is kind of where we are today in terms of blockchain. And to really understand blockchain, I encourage everybody to read this particular white paper. It's only 8 pages long, and you really only need to internalize the first page. And the important part that is often skipped over, the real interesting invention is that Bitcoin introduced the concept of a digital bearer instrument. If you right now have any form of currency in your pocket, so printed paper money, that's a bearer instrument. So a bearer instrument is simply the fact that I can give it to Jason here. So now I don't have that particular dollar anymore, and Jason has it, and that's all that there's needed. And so that was what Bitcoin actually introduced. That's the principle of the blockchain. So the blockchain, what it does let you do is create value exchange protocols. So, cryptocurrencies. So how many cryptocurrencies do we need? Probably as many as one. What do I mean by that? So in the past, we used to pay for the minute. When we talk to someone, we used to pay more if that someone was further away. This is kind of still how we treat money, right? So if someone's close by, then I pay a merchant account, I pay a couple of cents. If I send it to another country, guess what? You're losing 20 to 25% of that value, specifically in that remittance play. A lot of these things aren't currencies. So there's maybe 6 currencies right now, and what do I mean by that? So let's go back to how we still define money. So money is supposed to be a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store and storage of value. We're still using this definition, even though someone wrote this down in 1875. The other thing that was invented in 1875, by the way, is the telephone. So the telephone changed significantly, so changed money, but we're still using the same definition. So what I'd like you to understand is the following. This is not money. This is an IOU, right? And so this is very important to understand in terms of what it does as a technology. It's very bad technology, because really what currency solves is what I call the cow problem. Cow is short for coincidence of wants. I have a cow and I want a beer, and it's really hard to exchange a cow for a beer. So hence we invented currencies. So currency is anything that solves the cow problem, that solves the coincidence of wants problem. So what you'll probably never see is this. This represents 25 cents. So don't ever expect to see a price being shown in Bitcoin. There's a couple of things you can buy with Bitcoin, obviously, at this point in time, but don't really expect to see this anytime soon on any consumer good. So what blockchain creates is the Internet of Value exchange. So we started out with one protocol, the Internet Protocol. We added a couple of others, file transfer. Actually, file transfer came before, TCP, SMTP. You do not put a stamp on an email, do you? At the same time when we invented the SMTP protocol for email, we should have invented money over IP. But this is exactly what Bitcoin introduced. Unfortunately, at the moment, it's more gold over IP because people are holding it, or you probably have heard the term hodling. What people are working on right now are more of these asset exchange protocols. So right now, the low-hanging fruits are blockchain native assets, such as Bitcoin. The next section is digitally native assets. So if you have an in-game character in your game, you'll be able to own this character. You'll be able to take it with you, use it in your next game. You will be able to sell it peer-to-peer. And I can show you after the presentation if you're interested. So, and then lastly, and that's a very important topic that two other speakers already covered, identity over protocol. A lot of what needs to be built is attached to identity. So specifically, anybody that's out there and that's trying to sell you a security token, there aren't any security tokens. There will be security tokens after we solve identity. Why do I say that? Because the token in a context of blockchain is part of the peer-to-peer exchange stack. Means if you can trade it peer-to-peer on a public blockchain, it's not a token. It's tethered to someone's platform. And also, oftentimes people use that term private blockchain. There aren't private blockchains. These are fancy databases of sorts. If, simple test, if this company goes away and the function or the token entirely goes away, it's not part of a blockchain. It's very simple. So this is actually a graphic I adapted from some we see up in the Bay Area. You've probably seen it. I adapted it slightly because he initially proposed that, hey, in the past or up until now, most of the value was being captured on what we call the application layer, and this underlying protocol layer didn't really get much attention. So the protocols that I showed before that make up the internet. So in the future, he proposed we start capturing the value on the protocol layer. So we move assets directly on IP. So Bitcoin would be the obvious one, and then anything that I can translate into a smart contract as long as it's part of mainnet. I'll explain the concept later if you want me to. And then cute kittens, right? So what can you buy real quick? I mean, if you wanted to, you can buy Amazon gift cards using BitPay, and you can buy a trip on Expedia with Bitcoin using Coinbase, but you still need an intermediary of sorts at the moment. This is not native. These are layer 2 solutions. If you haven't seen this one, this sold out within a couple of hours when it came about. Casa, this is a Lightning node, it's a layer 2 solution on top of Bitcoin. There's a lot of people that keep complaining about this idea that Bitcoin only does 4